Welcome home. This is the Residency Podcast. I am Jeff Tomasic with Drew Belcher and Lo Raven, bringing you the biggest guests and stories in entertainment, business, pop culture, and sports from our brand new studio on the Las Vegas Strip inside the Mandalay Bay. Make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. The episode is brought to you by Mandalay Bay. On August 27th at Allegiant Stadium, none other than legendary Guns N' Roses will be performing. There's never been a concert this size like this in Las Vegas before, so if you're in Vegas, make sure you get a ticket.
Fact check that.
Guns N' Roses, legendary. Let's do that. Now that preseason football has officially started, by the way, and the regular season is right around the corner, do not forget that the Bud Light Beer Garden between Mandalay Bay and Luxor is the only place to enjoy the pregame and postgame. You know we'll be there. Tons of food, music, big guest experiences. Some appearance, some craziness, some food.
Beer bongs for sure.
Go. And if you partied too hard at the Raiders game and you owe your girl a date, then Rivea at Delano is the best choice of French and Italian-influenced cuisine inspired by the food markets of Provence, Italy. Pure sex appeal, best view on the Strip.
Lo loves French food, by the way.
Yeah, don't be afraid to get fancy, guys. You know, don't be afraid to get fancy. Big episode today. We're super excited. Today we have a legend in the building. Could possibly have the greatest bloodline in history. Questionable, but real. Could be. She's one of the most exciting people in entertainment and could no doubt beat everyone's ass in the studio right now. WWE superstar Charlotte Flair, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys.
No problem.
Absolutely, you can kick all of our asses.
I'll behave.
We have her here first, by the way, so hopefully we don't upset her and maybe get some consequences down the road. Bloodline is possibly the greatest of all time.
Well, I think so.
I think so.
I think so too. Come on, we all grew up huge wrestling fans.
Exactly. It's in the blood right now. So not for sale yet, but possibly in the future it could be. I know you get to ask this a million times, but can we start the show off properly? Can you hit us with the woo real quick?
It's so early.
One morning woo. Let's go.
I have to save them for SummerSlam.
All right.
I'm just kidding. Woo.
There it is.
All right. That's good.
We'll increase her volume a little bit. Yeah, we're good. We're
Get
good.
that woo way up.
I've wooed in an arena before with like 10,000 people and like nothing's come out. And I'm like, whoa. I'm glad no one can tell.
When you go for it, you try and it comes
Yeah.
up and nothing comes out.
And we're just like, wait, what's going on?
Can't tell.
We'll practice it. You know, we've been off camera practicing our woo to see if we could, mirror up with you. By the way, shout out to Vayner Sports and Chris Pavino. Thanks for making this happen. We got an audience today. So
He's in the background. He's in the cut. Fine,
yeah,
he's killing.
100%. First off, your real name is Ashley Elizabeth. Did you always want to be named Charlotte or something? Was that just those names not good enough? How did this happen?
Well, you always pick a stage name.
Right.
Obviously. But I think when I started, they were like, oh, we'll just call her Charlotte because her dad's billed from Charlotte.
Okay.
And it just worked out.
Worked out that way?
Yeah. And then I said, you can't say Charlotte from Charlotte, so Charlotte from Queen City. It was that easy.
That makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
Don't lie to us, though. Were there any wrestling names that you thought of that never saw the light of day?
Miss Elizabeth.
Miss
But
Elizabeth?
like, why would I name myself after like one of the? Yeah. So can we like tweak it a little bit? But yeah,
Miss Elizabeth.
No, I like that one.
Yeah.
Miss Elizabeth, I like it.
You could
But
do
there
like
is the Miss Elizabeth, so.
could do some old school outfits maybe with Miss Elizabeth,
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
I had a stage name, and I was called Silky Johnson.
Silky Johnson.
That was my stage name.
What
And
was that for?
I don't know. I was just
Just
in
a nickname?
college, and I ran with it forever. And I thought, if I'm ever going to be a stripper, my stage name would be Silky Johnson.
Okay, I like it.
There we go.
I feel like you had to have thought of a few off camera, like maybe I should go with this. Another alias or anything?
No.
Nothing? Stuck with it? Okay.
I think my name's pretty cool.
I like Charlotte Flair.
Is just,
Iconic.
I mean, it just goes. I don't know.
It really does. It rolls off the tongue nicely.
100%. We really want to show our listeners a little bit of your background. I know this is definitely a sensitive subject, but you tell us a little bit how you got into professional wrestling, how that related to your brother, and how that really came about.
Yeah, so in 2012, me, my little brother Reed, and my dad went to the Hall of Fame for WrestleMania in Miami, and we were at dinner with one of the producers. And I think my dad and the producer were kind of scheming together to get my little brother motivated. So they asked me at dinner, the producer did, he was like, why aren't you doing this, kid? And he has like a raspy voice. And I was like, I don't know, I never really thought about it. And I was 26 at the time, already graduated, and I wasn't doing anything personal training. And when he said it, my little brother was like, oh my gosh, you got to do it. You'd be great at it. And I was like, I don't know. So we talked about it for like 2 days. And the more he said it, I was like, maybe I will do it. And it could get my brother on the right path and we could do it together. So I reported literally 3 months later to the developmental program, FCW, which is now NXT in Tampa. And the rest is history. But for like 3 months, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I never dreamed about wrestling. I never saw myself in the light of like Stacy Keibler, Tori Wilson, Trish Stratus, Lita. I never like saw myself as that. Like I grew up watching them, but and then when I started, it just clicked. And then my brother passed away 8 months later. And then when he passed away, I just dedicated everything to getting better to him.
That's unreal. And when was this exactly?
So the Hall of Fame was April 2012. I reported to NXT July of 2012, and then my brother passed away March of 2013.
That's an insane
so
story.
So he never saw me wrestle or anything, or made it there.
But you think that was the biggest motivation for you to really just
that was
go
the
all
only
in?
Reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really know what the reason was. Like maybe I was like, I'm not really doing anything with my life, just personal training. Like maybe I am meant for more. But
yeah.
It was because of him that I had the courage or the confidence to even like move. Like I'd been in North Carolina my whole life.
Yeah.
Like,
so was there really no other vision for what you wanted to do with your life before this? It was just playing it by ear, and then this came about?
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, casually
Casually
worked, by the way.
Yeah, casually worked. No, like I played sports in middle school, high school, played volleyball in college. And then when I got done, I was like, I don't know, I guess lost. Like I never had a passion or a dream for anything other than just playing sports. So I guess my brother's dream ultimately like changed the course of my life. So like I spent so much time trying to help him when ultimately like he helped me in the long run.
It's great.
Yeah, like I went from a lost 26-year-old to main eventing WrestleMania within 5 years.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I remember growing up watching, I want to say, I think WCW,
Yep.
but I think you and your brother were small in a couple of...
But you know what's crazy when people bring up those clips? Like I totally forgotten that even happened.
I remember
it
seeing...
wasn't even like important to me.
Sure.
Like I didn't even like realize like, oh, this is Dad's job. We're going to Dad's job. It's cool. Like it impacted my brother's life, but for me, like unless people bring up those like few moments we were involved in like the family feuds or whatever, I never like really thought about it.
Sure.
It wasn't a thing.
Just something that you were hopping on with, and little did you know it was going to become your whole life.
I grew up like wanting to be a superstar or wanting to be like in the scene or whatever. Like I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and played sports.
Right.
And, like, enjoyed hanging out with my friends.
Sure.
I went to Appalachian State for college, like Boone, North Carolina. like
obviously
beer and volleyball and like hanging out with athletes.
The breeding ground for WWE superstars, obviously now. Well, obviously your dad is Ric Flair. So growing up with that happening all the time, did you even know really what was going on when you were younger? Did you like it, love it? Were you like just indifferent? You just thought it was normal for you?
Yeah, it was just normal.
Yeah.
Indifferent. Like I didn't really realize how famous he was till I went to college, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, icon.
People are really into this.
Right.
Absolute icon,
I'm
yeah.
be really into this. Well, because I went to the same school from TK kindergarten to 9th, and then I went from private to public for volleyball. And then, but it was like all in the same vicinity, same kids, same circle. Like everyone knew my dad, all the places we went, restaurants, my volleyball team, gymnastics team, basketball team, coaches. Like it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Like everyone knew him around town.
It was just so normal to you, right?
Yeah.
It was just run of the mill. This is just my dad.
And he didn't like. I mean, he took us to shows, but it was more for like vacation at Disney World.
Sure.
Like when they were in Orlando or something.
How close was his public persona to his real life personality?
Everyone asks this. I mean, like, my dad is my dad.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like to everyone, he's Ric Flair, but like, we have the same father-daughter fights, and like you have
Everyday
to be
stuff,
home,
right?
curfew. Like yes, he has bleached blonde hair and carried around a world title when I was in kindergarten, but like I didn't know any different. But he's still like, I don't see him how everyone else sees him, like the Ric Flair drip. That's not how I see my dad.
I mean, song by the Migos.
Like,
Yeah, right?
That's not.
Is that
Yeah.
funny to you when you see people just look at him that way? You kind of laugh because you know the
No,
secrets,
because
right?
he is that person.
Yeah.
Like he's so true to who he is. That's what I admire the most about him. Like he's so unapologetically him, and he's never changed. That's why he's been able to be so popular throughout the years and in pop culture, because he's not like faking it. Like that's who he is, and
Right.
people believe in authenticity, and like everything he says is true. like at that time, or he was the best, or like the alligator shoes and the suits and the planes, like that's him.
He's got some incredible quotes over the years.
Yeah.
That is pretty. So the clips of him are unbelievable.
The best, honestly.
So did he ever do the what is it when like the parents go to school and do like their jobs? You know, you ever come in? Hey, my dad's an accountant. My dad's a lawyer. Hey, Ric Flair, everybody.
I did do that.
Did he come in?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, how
There's
did that
a picture
go?
of me sitting beside him, and I'm holding the big gold belt in kindergarten, and it's like to take that picture and then see where I am today. It's so crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is very
Bring the
kindergarten.
big gold belt to show and tell. But I didn't even like think of it as a big deal then. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like, this is my dad. This is his belt.
Everything your dad has when you're that age is so cool. Little did
Everything's
you know,
cool. It doesn't
actually
matter,
Really
yeah.
was cool to everybody else.
Yeah.
All right, you in your prime versus Ric Flair in his prime. Who's winning?
Me.
I said the same thing.
That was quick.
I'm more athletic.
That
Absolutely.
was quick. Half a second right there. Boom.
Me.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, Rick. You know, that was easy. No question about that. All right, you're at the pinnacle of the sport right now. What are the early stages of WWE really like where you have to earn your stripes? What are those years like? That path?
Well, I think the reason I am where I am is because I always keep wanting to earn more, or like think that you've never just all of a sudden gotten to that day that, oh, I'm good enough, it doesn't matter. Like I always want to improve, get better. For me, it was always obviously different. It was like not only was I Ric Flair's kid, Ric Flair's coming in with no experience, not like I felt like I had to work work twice as hard to gain the respect of my peers. Like that
Right.
was so important to me in the beginning to be like, no, I'm just not here because of my last name. I'm here because I want to be good. I want to learn the business. I want to be a part of it. But it's so many things. It's figuring out what to do in the ring, find a character, be an athlete, be an entertainer. It's like step by step, and I don't know. I was just so lost in the beginning, but the athletic part came naturally to me, and then it was like finding, okay, the one thing that everyone hates about me, use that into my character, and then
Okay.
just make it larger than life. And that's what I did.
How has the beginning character and you now, how has that evolved over time?
Being unapologetically good.
I like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Take that, people. I like that. I mean, it's been, so you started though, you said 2013?
2013, yeah.
2013. So it's been a serious ride since then. Obviously, like the evolution of who you are in the sport has changed dramatically. Were those early stages as big to you as the big stage is now, just because it was so new then?
It's so hard to be in the moment. Like
Yeah.
you don't really understand like what's happening. But I think like there was a moment when I debuted on Raw, and like a couple months later a Forbes article came out about me saying like Charlotte Flair is not only like, it was the first time people were really taking notice that like she's known for her talent, not as eye candy or sex appeal. They're like, when they see her, they're not going, oh, she's a good female wrestler. Like, she's a good wrestler, maybe
Right.
a woman.
Sure.
And I think that was like, oh yeah, that's what I stand for. Like, I brought all those things. Like, I never, like when I used to see the women when I was little, I'd be like, oh my God, Michelle McCool's so beautiful. Like, she has boots like that. How does
Yeah.
she have long hair? Like, the makeup. Like, that all came as like I got better and I guess being polished and groomed. But it was people acknowledging that women can put on just as physical matches and storytelling as the men, and people not going, oh, they're just women. It's no, like they're just as good, if not better. And that was coming across on camera to the audience.
Sure.
Yeah.
And being acknowledged for that.
I mean, I think it's right. I think the female division of WWE has evolved like
Oh,
on an
it's yeah.
unbelievable pace over, like you said, since the early stages. I mean, like we talked about the personality and how that comes from. What about the costumes? Like, how do you choose that? Has there any been some that have, like been pushed on you that you're like absolutely not hated?
Well, when I first started, I wasn't allowed to go by the last name Flair, do anything that was signature to my dad.
Really?
Nothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then they gave me my last name after WrestleMania 34 when I defeated Asuka. And I think the company was like, okay, she can handle it. Like, that's a lot to... So I went from Charlotte to Charlotte Flair. But for costumes, no, everything was just my idea, and that was like super hard in the beginning. And then at WrestleMania 32, when I retired the Divas Championship, and they were debuting the new Raw Women's Championship for the first time ever, I won that title that night. But I figured, because my dad was my manager, and I'd never done it before, and it's WrestleMania, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do a robe. So the seamstress took the pieces of my dad's robe that he retired with Shawn Michaels in and made me this blue robe. And then the fan reaction to the robe was so positive that I just kept doing it. And then the robes have like evolved over time. Now they're like all leather jackets. Like, I've gotten away from like the boas, and
right.
I always keep my peacock feathers because my dad was always considered like the peacock of wrestling. I think there's an 80s wrestling magazine with him on it, and all of his robes look like the peacock feathers.
Okay, cool.
So I
Yeah.
It's not that he wore peacock feathers, but it was just the image of the robes looking like all the colorful feathers. And so I just added them.
I love that, though.
Yeah.
I need one.
I mean, because that's hard, I feel like, when you trying to figure out a costume that fits the personality.
It's still hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some of these.
Like, those have, like, I don't do the peacock feathers anymore. Like, on the gear, and my gear is different. That robe was just for WrestleMania 34, but like my last two robes have been inspired by villains from Disney or Marvel movies. Like
I love it. Yeah.
Cruella. Then I did Maleficent. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be the best ever.
We're excited for this one.
Yeah.
And these are all your ideas? And you come up with all of them or have some sort of say in all of them? That's amazing, because I can't even figure out what the fuck I want to wear every day.
That's all the seamstress, but the vision is me. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's insane.
The top and the gold one is serious,
Come on.
right? That is like some demand respect
So,
situation.
The cool thing about that outfit is when I wrestled Asuka at WrestleMania 34, I came out on Triple H's throne in that. So it was kind of like a passing of the torch.
Sure.
So when Triple H came out on that throne, I can't remember the number. I think it was like WrestleMania 30. I was just one of the like goddesses beside him, and I remember like shaking me like, how does he wrestle in front of all these people? Oh my God. Like, how does he do it? And then at WrestleMania 34, when he said, I want you to come out on that throne, I was like, you just never, like, how did I get here?
Right.
Like, how am I coming out on Triple H's throne when I went from being the girl that could barely stand there, the goddess, to like, in my opinion, like that was the best match of the night at
Sure,
WrestleMania 34
sure.
against Asuka, and coming out on his throne and just. I still am like, some days I'm like, I don't know how I got here.
Right? Just flabbergasted, blown
I don't
away.
know,
Like,
how
what?
did I get from Boone, North Carolina to here?
What happened?
I'm hanging out.
What happened? We had Brandon Marshall on here. We talked about walking out to an NFL crowd and what that really felt like, and how he's never able to replicate that because he's retired now. I mean, Charlotte Flair, main event, sold out stadium. What is it like walking out in that moment to the WWE ring?
I also showed up in a helicopter.
Wow. Note to self. Note to self.
Big deal. No, for me, like, that moment was more like I said I was going to main event WrestleMania, and everyone just looked at me like I was crazy or arrogant or cocky.
For sure.
Or people just thought I was saying it to make a tagline. No, I said I was going to main event WrestleMania, and I did main event WrestleMania as a woman. So, like, when I walked out, I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to say you're going to do something and do it. So, like, there was no second when I was doing my entrance I didn't feel like I didn't belong. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm doing the thing.
The seconds leading up to it, do you still get a little nervous? Or you just like
you're
fired
always
up?
Nervous,
Yeah.
But that was such a, I don't know, like, you always get nervous, but walking out there, I had to feel like this is where I belong. Like, you could not fake that.
Yeah.
Being the main event of Mania.
Is there a favorite stadium city that you have so far?
Oh, I mean, AT&T was 101,000 people.
Texas, baby.
Dude, that is insane. 100,000 people?
101,000 people at AT&T. Like that's.
Jerry Jones does it different.
Dude, he just does it so big.
Jerry Jones does it
And
different.
Texas, like the crowds are just incredible. I mean, the crowds are incredible everywhere, but I guess AT&T was pretty spectacular.
Sure.
Are you excited for this Vegas one?
Yep.
This is
Especially
wild.
Sea Allegiant.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
It's
yeah.
it's beautiful.
New stadium, beautiful.
It's beautiful.
55,000 people for SummerSlam.
This is going to be big. Vegas needs
Yeah.
this. We've never had anything like this before in the city, so this is going to be iconic. So we're excited to see what you're about to bring, by the way. Pumped up. If you want me to come out with you on a helicopter, all you have to do is ask.
Or
Just
we'll
let me
hold you
know.
up or do whatever you want. Just let us
If you
know.
need someone to do like the intro for you, no problem. Like we're trying to practice here, and this is essentially our audition.
We have last minute ideas for our own costumes.
No,
Yes.
well, when I had the helicopter entrance, everyone was like, well, how did you come about telling Vince that you wanted a helicopter? I'm like, you think I just told Vince, hey, I want a helicopter for my entrance?
Just a weekly
Like,
meeting?
That's the perception that people have of me, that they think, yes, I want a helicopter. No, that was all them, like the week of, like, hey, Charlotte, we came up with this idea. Do you like it? But people have the perception of my character that I was like, hey, I need to show up.
Sure. Vince, let me run something by you real quick.
How do you think about this, Vince? I want a helicopter.
Guys, Charlotte does not walk to the ring anymore. I need helicopter or
I need a
nothing.
helicopter every time.
Smoke shows, everything.
I like
Yeah.
it. Do you consider yourself the villain or the hero? I mean, I know what the fans think,
Yeah.
but what do you consider yourself as?
In real life or the ring?
I guess let's answer both.
No, definitely the bad guy.
Okay.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yes.
Love that.
It works
that
too,
was a-
honestly.
That was a bad guy
was
smile,
fun.
by
It
the way.
works.
That yes was a bad guy smile. So that's your you enter into that persona.
As much as I try, so I think I'm very relatable. But as much as the harder I try to be relatable and come across sympathetic, it even comes across, it somehow comes across even more bad guy-ish.
Yeah, it
People
really
don't
does.
Get it.
Just sarcastic. Yeah, right.
Well, no, because if I'm like, well, this and how hard I had to try, people don't take it like the same way. So then I just started taking the piss out of it. Because I really do feel that way. But the more I tried to sympathize with me or understand me, it even took it worse.
Yep.
So I'm just like, yeah, you're right. I'm Ric
Welcome
Flair's
it.
daughter. Everything's handed to me. I just wake up like this and I don't have to try hard.
Yep. I believe it.
It's just...
I mean, that's why you get helicopters. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's light work.
I just walk into work and I'm like, I want a helicopter today.
What's next? You know, what's after the helicopter? You know, what's the follow up to that? Where do you go from there? Oh my God, am I exploding a secret
logo
right
on the
now?
helicopter? I don't know.
My own helicopter.
Yeah, right.
I'm
My own
flying the helicopter.
One. That's true. You can get a license, or you could skydive
Yeah.
in, perhaps. You know, like the Red Bull team.
Yeah.
You know, a little
But
collab
but
going.
it's a good thing because taking all of these aspects and the emotions and how the crowd reacts and listening, it's great because if they're not reacting,
But that's what the
That's
sport
when you have a
is. The sport
problem.
is embellishing. The sport is creating a spectacle and a
Yep.
show, and people want that.
and turning everything up a notch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they need
absolutely.
to gasp.
Yeah.
And luckily now with technology and the bigger stadium, bigger budgets, there's ideas like that can not be like, oh, how cool would it be if I could in a helicopter? It's like, hey, we're gonna have you in a helicopter. It's done.
Yep.
You're good to go. I love that. So speaking of Vince, what is Vince McMahon like? He's one of the most polarizing people in sports.
Yeah.
What is he really like?
He's so intimidating.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Come
He's
on.
intimidating. No, I so he's always at our shows. He's always in Gorilla, runs the show to this day. Just when I walk back from my match or promo segment or whatever I'm doing on the show, you always just want to make him proud and impress him.
Right.
So you always look for that acknowledgement of whatever it is afterwards. That's how I feel
Sure.
about him. You always want to impress him.
It's like similar question on your dad, Rick, like the Vince McMahon that the fans see and the Vince McMahon that you see behind the curtains creating this, is that the same person? Is he just absolutely a genius business-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what he's done with sports entertainment. He's taken it from what it was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and now we're a publicly traded worldwide company that travels the world.
Yeah.
With brands and sponsorships, and it really is a spectacle.
And it's just continued to explode too.
Well, WrestleMania, I believe, is in the top 10 largest sporting event in the world.
Oh, wow.
Like, think about that.
Yeah. Everything included overseas.
Everything included.
European soccer, etc.
Yes. That's how big it is.
I always thought, like, in the growth of WWE, and, you know, especially, like I said, when we were growing up, right, and I used to, like, sneak down to watch WWE Raw because it was late at night so my parents wouldn't know, you know? And Vince McMahon's willingness to be the pinnacle figure but be involved in matches and get in there and be part of the storyline was just so different. That wasn't a reality back then. I think that probably changed the course of him and the WWE forever.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The whole family, yeah.
That was just so iconic.
remember.
WWF back then.
It was WWF and then
Yeah.
WCW, and they would
Yeah.
clash, and then some wrestlers would go on the other programs and like have fights. It was amazing storyline. It was great entertainment.
And he's still there, though, just actively involved in every aspect of this,
He's
huh?
the boss.
Wow. Got to get Vince. I need a little Vince moment for sure. All right, celebrity boxing is huge right now. Vince McMahon versus Dana White. Who's winning?
Vince McMahon.
Also quick.
I mean, Vince McMahon's a big guy.
Big dude, man.
He's a big dude.
No, he's just brilliant. Sometimes that's all that.
Yeah,
Oh,
all it takes.
absolutely.
all it
Absolutely.
takes.
Mind over matter, baby.
Yep.
I love that. So the business of WWE, I don't know if fans really know, or at least our listeners might not know this. How does the business of WWE work compared to the NFL, NBA contracts wise? How does that all work from the back end?
I'm not really familiar with their contracts.
Yeah,
sure.
So I'm not sure.
Are you guys signed to long-term deals? Is this something that's like, you know, because you see these other sports that are like you're locked in for a while, or is this something that you guys are like doing it year by year, or is this something that you know is solidified for a while?
I can just talk about myself because I
Yeah,
only know
you, just you, yeah.
myself. Like, once you're in the business, you're always in the business.
Yeah,
Like,
you're married.
There's not really
I'm
an
married
off season,
to it.
right?
There's not an off season.
Right,
no.
yeah, okay.
No, unless you're injured, and knock on wood, no one wants to be injured.
Oh, got it,
Yeah.
got it. Sure.
Yeah.
You're married to the
So
game.
like
Yeah.
until COVID, I was on the road almost 5 years straight, 300 plus days.
Oh
a
my
year.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's got to be so insane and tough.
You got to
It's
enjoy
what
the
makes it
lifestyle.
special.
It's what you know now,
like
yeah.
The road warriors. Like, no one understands how grueling, how hard, how dedicated you have to be to sports entertainment. Like, we're a different breed of humans, and I'll say that against any sport. I mean, they have an off season.
They really do. Yeah.
Like,
a long off season
we're driving
too.
from town to town every day. Or Europe, whether it's a 2-week tour, performing every night, having to be, you know, whether it's media, I mean, there's just so many hats you have to wear. You have to do it all.
Hey, I guess if you consider versus other sports, you know how much of an advantage a home game is versus the WWE
we
is
don't
like
have home games.
you're just always on the road, always moving. There's no coming back. Okay, I have a home stint or whatever it may be. It's interesting. I never really thought of it that way.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's tough. Internationally now, is it crazy when you go overseas and see the reaction to you and
Yes.
the WWE in general?
I mean, I've been everywhere from India, China, Japan, South America, Manila. I mean, everywhere, South Africa. We're just as big, if not bigger, there than here because here the fans are spoiled. Yeah.
We have everything. Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
we are spoiled. I'm
Absolutely
sorry.
spoiled.
I'm sorry. They just appreciate it so much because they
Oh,
come
they
there.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, we're
also-
not there all the time.
Right. So when
Like my
when
first
you are
time
there,
in India, we hadn't been there in 10 years. I mean, we've been back 3 times since that year, since 2016, I believe. It's just incredible.
how big are those shows?
I want to say it was like 15,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, to think about the superstardom translating to all these different countries in such a huge way.
Well, I mean, we're on basic cable there, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And our Superstars program is on there too. So
Is it
our
from
main event, excuse me.
from a WWE standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, when you go there and there's just all these Charlotte Flair fans, what's that like?
You don't realize how many lives you touch
Right.
worldwide.
Absolutely.
Being a part of WWE because we're global. That's what's crazy. You're not just, you know, a superstar to the fans here. You're a superstar to, you know, the child in Shenzhen or the family in India.
Right.
Wherever we are. Like, it's crazy.
So you're obviously reaching a lot of people now. Social media, like the world has changed and
Yep.
allows for more of this. Do you love the social media aspect? Do you hate that? How are your reactions to?
Just in the last 2 years was I like, okay, here's Ashley versus Charlotte. Like, everything was so character based. So now I show a little more of my personal life.
Have you welcomed that? I know, because I know it has to be hard. Being in the public eye, social media sometimes can be.
Yeah, I'm just so
tough.
different than my character, so it's like 50-50.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I still feel weird sometimes. Like, why am I talking into my Instagram story? Like, does people really want to see me talk? Like, why am I taking the selfie
the same
again?
shit. Yeah.
Like, I still feel awkward doing that.
Yeah.
Like, on my personal time. Like, yeah, if I'm in character, that's fine. But, like, why am I sitting at home talking into my story? Like, who really wants to see that?
Hey guys,
Believe it or not, probably thousands and thousands
Yeah, but
of
I
people.
can't get it over
Yeah.
in my head. Like, just do it. I'm
Yep.
like, but I feel so weird.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you check reactions after matches, like Twitter or anything like that?
sometimes.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Stay
it's so
away
much
from it.
easier to be negative than positive, right?
Very true. Very true. I mean, I feel like because you are the villain, some of the reactions from people, from the fans, have to be very opinionated.
Very opinionated.
Very opinionated.
Of
to say-
They're
course,
very
the-
opinionated of me.
Yeah.
These fans get attached to these characters,
The
and they
idea.
don't understand it. Like it's a character, and these athletes and these performers, they have actual real lives and real personalities outside of these matches.
Yeah, people are brutal, man.
They're fucking ruthless.
They're bad.
Yeah.
But I just say don't give them life. That's
Sure.
all they want. They want attention.
They really do.
I guess I've clapped back a few times, but I pick and choose my spots. Like, I still talk about this because it still bothers me to this day. But leading up to WrestleMania 35, when we main evented, me, Rhonda, and Becky Lynch were at ESPN for like a sit down or whatever, and each of us had like a graphic. And it was like Becky, Royal Rumble winner, Ronda Rousey, Raw Women's Champion, UFC, whatever. Mine was Ric Flair's daughter.
No, god damn it.
And I'm like, I'm the most decorated woman in the history of this company, and you put me as Ric Flair's daughter? Like, that's not even like, I don't know if it was a dig or like the guy who was running the graphics that day thought it was a joke.
or thought
like,
it might have been, oh, this is what she wants.
Or really bought into the
Yeah,
storyline.
yeah.
Like, that's just, like, I'll clap back at things that, like, really bother me.
That deserve it.
That really bothered
Oh,
me.
Should have
man.
kicked his ass.
Yeah.
Like, that to, like, here we are in women's evolution. Like, that's my title.
I'm someone's daughter.
Like,
yeah.
I
no.
get it. I'm grateful to be Ric Flair's
Sure,
daughter.
sure.
But eventually, he's going to be known as Charlotte's dad.
Whoa, there it is. There it is. Beating his ass really quick. He knows
I
it.
love you, Dad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it. So you've amassed some crazy, insane social media following now, obviously, for Ashley, and Charlotte, I guess. Your real persona.
Actually, people react more to, or people like to see what I'm like in my real life.
Of course.
Like, they don't
Of
want to
course.
see the makeup and, like, usually I'm in gym clothes and
Yeah, they want to see the workouts, whatever you're having for lunch. That's
I'm
why
not
Instagram
as
is
cool
weird.
in my real life.
Yeah. Hey guys, here's my coffee. 30,000 views, right? Damn. What are the DMs like? Are people going shooting
I
crazy?
don't check my DMs.
Oh,
Good. Don't
no?
ever.
No.
Don't start either.
Yeah.
Don't start.
It's always one of our favorite questions that people
Don't check
even
the
look at it.
DMs.
That inbox folder is just filled.
No.
Yeah, so you can't do that. You gotta leave them out there. Once you open one, it just opens the floodgates. All right, question: if you had a movie marathon for 24 hours, but you could only watch The Rock movies or John Cena movies, what are you watching?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
You can't answer that.
I don't know.
You gotta pick one.
So, an honest answer, I've always wanted to be like John in the company. Like,
Yeah.
when I started, his dedication, his passion, what he's meant to this business. Yes, does Dwayne mean a lot? 100%.
Yeah.
But from what Cena has done, just when I was there, because Dwayne wasn't, his work ethic is second to none. Like, and the Make-A-Wish, I guess Cena, in terms of if I had to pick for who has motivated me more inside.
Right. Do you think that could be your path one day? Do you have a dream of like crossing over to
I want to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ashley Flair acting?
Ashley Flair.
Wow.
Well, I was Heather Rockrear in a Psych movie, and I got to kick some people's butts.
Okay.
Like, it was a spinoff of the Psych show, and I had so much fun. So, Yeah, I hope one day.
Netflix, you know what I mean? She's right here. Let's go. Trying to put people together, make it happen. That would be great. I mean, I feel like you really, I mean, probably is one of the better avenues to acting or an acting career ever.
Well, what I think Dwayne and Cena have done so well is they've picked roles in the beginning that really fit who they are.
They
as
did, yeah.
characters in the ring.
Right.
So I would definitely, if I did it, want to be prepped. I'd want to have just as much time to hone my craft as I did in the ring. But so using Charlotte's, I guess, layout kind of.
Right.
The bad evil girl.
Sure.
Yeah. I think another.
It's easy.
Even John and Dwayne, their personalities in the ring, and then how funny they are sometimes on screen, right?
In
Yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You see how funny Cena was.
Yeah,
And the
crazy.
movie, the one a couple years ago with Amy Schumer was hilarious. Seeing that.
When he was the big boyfriend. Yeah. That was
I
hilarious.
love the
Train
dad.
wreck.
I love
Train
the
wreck.
dad
Train
one.
wreck.
Train wreck, yeah.
I love
Yep.
the dad one too, where he's playing.
Even
Oh, yeah,
Batista,
yeah.
I'm so amazed looking at Batista now, being a part of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Crazy.
It's really awesome.
I mean, that's a gigantic role too. Oh my
I
gosh.
know. And it fits.
Yeah.
And, he's funny in it.
For
in
sure.
the second one, especially with his interactions with Groot.
I mean,
And
you
the
get to
more-
Marvel, that's game
Yeah.
over.
Oh, I know.
It's game over.
If
there-
you weren't the craziest, huge WWE superstar that you are, what would you have seen or could have seen yourself being,
I guess
career-wise?
Personal training.
Personal training?
Yeah. Well, I went to school for interpersonal and public communications. I did enjoy PR and being someone's assistant and writing out, I guess memos or I can't even think of the word right now.
I cannot see you doing
I-
any of that.
Yeah, no.
At all.
Press releases.
Sure.
But like I said, I didn't have a dream or. Well, first of all, I just really love Sex in the City. That's where I got the PR.
Same.
thing
Yeah,
from.
yeah, same.
But-
Got it. There we go.
So-
Okay.
My favorite character was Carrie, but I liked Samantha's job.
Of course.
Samantha's job looked
Got it.
on screen. I was like, oh, I'll do that.
HP always makes it look more romantic,
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
Always.
right.
Everything.
This looks perfect. Types a couple pages, hits the streets of New York. Light work. I like that.
Max
Yeah.
wearing $1,000 outfits.
Yeah, hanging out.
Because that's how much money you make.
The
when
most
you do
wildly paid PR lady of all time, for
that.
sure.
Yes. Well, same with Carrie's column, living in
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell some good stories. Date some guys. Mr. Big.
As you get a little
What a
older,
life.
as you
What
get
a
little,
life.
As you get a little older, you realize, damn, this is just not adding
It's
up.
not how it is.
What was it like the
her
Friends?
shoes are not adding up with how much she's making.
Nope,
I'm not
not
really
at all.
sure how this is.
Not at all.
That's a month's salary right there, lady. What are you doing? Or the
It's
what
like
was,
6 months' salary, some of them.
what was it like Friends? Everyone was always wondering, how do these people live in that apartment?
Yeah,
in New
why
York?
are they all hanging out on the
That
same
was
damn
huge.
I
couch?
figured that out quick when
Yeah.
I got to college and realized how much things cost.
Nobody wants to
This
know the
isn't
reality
real.
of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Just let me live the fake world that I see on TV. Totally fine. Inspire me when you can. I feel like you picked the better path.
Great career choice, by the way.
Financially as well. No problem.
Oh, God.
What is, we were talked about a little bit earlier, how you were moving around, but athletically, the training to be a WWE superstar as a professional sport, how intense is that, especially because you're always traveling?
So I don't really go to the ring anymore, to practice. If I have a big show, I'll get in the ring and train. But live events, obviously, you're wrestling every night. And when you get to Raw or SmackDown, you should be ready to go.
Sure.
But practicing is never something that you should stop doing. But for me, training is more just a mental thing, working out.
Yeah.
I need just some time, whether it's 20 minutes or an hour, every day just to turn off.
Yeah.
Being on is
Exactly.
the most exhausting part. I just need
Zone
that
out.
time. Yeah.
What do you do when you're relaxed and Charlotte truly becomes Ashley and the cameras are off and chilling? What are you doing? Just hanging, relaxing?
Drinking a michelada, eating a taco.
Great answer.
Love
Great
that.
answer. I love that.
micheladas.
Love that.
But, my fiance is Mexican.
Okay.
So when I started drinking them with me and he introduced them, I was like, oh my God, why are my cheeks getting so big because of all this salt? I'm like, okay, I'm going 6 months without a michelada.
But now you're addicted.
I'm addicted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My
Like,
wife,
I'm addicted.
my wife is Mexican, so she put it on me as well. She introduced me to tahini, and my whole world exploded.
Yes, you put it on cucumbers, you put it on jicama,
Everything.
but you're still like swelling. Like, why are my rings coming off?
Absolutely just bloated.
The best part ever was that, you know, I'm from a white suburban neighborhood on the East Coast, so we had taco night growing up, and my wife is hilarious because she grew up in a Mexican household, like taco night.
Completely different.
No, my fiance takes like offense to it. He
Yeah.
said taco night.
Yeah.
No, like,
Tortillas with every
no,
meal.
Babe, I'm not meaning it like that.
Yeah.
Like, actually, so my nutritionist is from Mexico because I'm using his diet guy. Because my fiance actually did a few bodybuilding shows when he was super young. But I have switched everything. So, like, I no longer eat tacos. It's just tortillas in my diet. I don't do broccoli. It's cactus. So, like, I'm full-blown Mexican.
Perfect. Perfect. You made the transcending
I
move.
made
You're
the
okay.
transition.
Yeah. It's very exotic of you.
Yeah.
Very
I know.
exotic of you.
But I did have to take a break from the micheladas. I was like, oh my God, like 5 pounds, 10 pounds later.
They'll get you
Like,
real quick.
Oh, they get you so fast.
Yeah, 100%.
Or like the beers.
Oh, the
I
big ones,
love
yeah.
the
The Clamato ones?
Oh, the ones that are already prepackaged,
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
michelada?
Like the
Yeah.
Budweiser
They're the
ones?
best. Run to the gas station real quick,
the only
save the
time I'm
effort.
drinking a Budweiser.
Yeah, me too. First time you have it, you're like, damn, this is actually pretty
actually
bomb,
kinda
right?
good.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
really
I was
good.
afraid of it for a while, but now I can't go
No,
back.
I'm not
Crackwood.
afraid.
I can't go back to that regular Bud Light anymore.
Fuck
You know what I
that,
mean?
no.
One last thing, you know, if you could tell WWE or non-WWE fans yet one thing to like really tell them what the sport is really about, get them crossover, what would it be?
Good versus evil. Everyone, no matter language or where you are in the world, understands good versus evil. And
Facts.
we're here just to put on stories. And if we can have you tune in no matter what age and watch with your family and have that suspension of disbelief that you're believing in the good guy or you hate that bad guy, and that we're able to do that is the best thing.
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
Pure entertainment. I love it. Thank you for coming on the show.
No, thanks for having me.
We really had a good time. I would still like to put that out there that if you do need announcers, you know, one time we are officially
You know, I'll just let my boss know. I have an idea for my
tell Vince.
Yeah, let him know, you know?
Slide it in there between helicopter and jet. And by the way, podcast host.
These two guys want to
announce me coming
Yeah.
in. Guys, make sure you check her out. SummerSlam this weekend. WWE Superstar, everything incredible at Charlotte Flair. Guys, we appreciate you. At the Residency Pod on Instagram. We'll see you next week.
Later.